On April 9th, Zach LaVine and Trae Young went head-to-head showing off their two very different styles of guard play. Zach LaVine is a high-flying, score-first combo guard who can create shots for himself and others. Trae Young is a point guard with elite passing ability and pick-and-roll creation skills. And not to mention, he can shoot from literally anywhere in the gym. Zach LaVine put up 50 in this one, while Trae Young added 42 with 9 assists and 8 rebounds. Two very impressive performances, but what ultimately decided this game was Trae Young's ability to create easy looks for himself and teammates out of the pick and roll, and Atlanta's ability as a team to force the Bulls into tough shots out of these same actions. Zach LaVine started this game blazing hot, literally hitting everything he put up. They open the game with a side ball screen, and Herter does a pretty good job staying attached, but Zach LaVine just drills a step back three right in his face. His next bucket was also contained pretty well, but he manages to hit a tough step back too. Here Snell does well to fight over while Capela contains the ball at the three-point line, then retreats back to his man once Snell is in position to contest. Despite the good defense, LaVine is literally just cooking at this point. But this is still an example of another tough shot by LaVine. If you still don't believe that he's cooking, here he just decides to come off Tice's screen and pull right in Capela's face, pretending he's not even there. These types of shots are great when they're falling, but the question is sustainability. Naturally, players will cool off when they're being defended well, and this extra attention presents openings for their teammates that historically great players have been able to take advantage of. LaVine is developing as a playmaker, but still has his issues. And on the flip side, that might be Trae's greatest strength as a player. Although we can't see Trae's eyes, watch how here when he comes off the screen, he's able to use his eyes to move Thaddeus Young back out to the shooter, ensuring the lob to Capela be uncontested. J. Kyle, man of the ringer, refers to this as the third level of the playmaking pyramid, when you can use your eyes or the ball to either hold a defender in place or move them to create a passing opportunity, and this is what is known as manipulating the defense, a trait that many great playmakers have. That being said, none of the playmaking is possible if you're not an elite scoring threat. Here Satoransky jumps to the screen, allowing Trae to reject it, and he gets downhill to hit a floater against the Bulls dropping big, something he tortured them with all game long. This dual threat is a nightmare for Vucevic to deal with. If he steps up, it's a Capela dunk. If he doesn't, it's a Trae floater. Pat Williams does not rotate down to Capela out of fear of giving up an open three, and when this happens, it forces Vucevic to try not to let Capela behind him, which then allows Trae to simply walk into a floater. Trae was able to generate these easy looks for himself pretty much the whole game, which in turn made it that much easier for him to generate easy looks for his teammates down the stretch. But before we get to that, I want to point out that LaVine is improving in this area. Here he was able to take advantage of his hot shooting by drawing both defenders on the ball screen and then hitting Vucevic down low for the score. Later, he was able to draw help and fire this beautiful pass off the dribble to the cutter. Although he's inconsistent in this area, there is evidence of improvement. The best looks he's able to consistently generate is when he uses his speed in transition, here drawing a foul. Very good things happen when Zach LaVine attacks space. Don't get me wrong, the shooting was great early on, but inevitably, down the stretch, it cooled down in the face of good defense. But give credit to Clint Capela. He played a huge role in forcing these tough looks because of his mobility. It's super hard to get downhill out of the pick and roll. Here, he literally just erases Zach LaVine's layup attempt. And keep in mind, Zach LaVine obviously is one of the most athletic players in the NBA. An elite defensive big man is something that unfortunately the Bulls do not have themselves, as Trae Young is literally able to abuse them all game long in the pick and roll. At this point of the game, Trae Young has established himself as a serious scoring threat out of the pick and roll, getting downhill and hitting floaters all game. And here, Vucevic finally steps up a little bit, but it doesn't matter because Clint Capela is there to catch the lob. Then Trae is able to get downhill off the pick and roll and hit yet another floater, and I think you can see how this is trending. Trae also used Capela as a threat in the dunker spot as well. Here, Thaddeus Young rushes back to Gallinari to prevent the pick and pop three, and that allows Trae to get downhill and simply drop it off to Capela, who had Pat Williams sealed on the inside. And Atlanta, who had been down all game, is now starting to pull ahead because they are generating easy looks and Chicago's been taking tough looks all game. This passing versatility displayed by Trae Young is really spectacular for his size. Here they blitz him to try to get the ball out of his hands, but it doesn't even matter as he still manages to get the pass around Vucevic to Capela under the hoop for the dunk. Trae's final assist of the game was the nastiest of them all. I'm honestly just going to let this one speak for itself. Okay, now, that was absolutely disgusting. This guy blended the pass in with the dribble, threw it behind his back on a frozen rope right to the shot pocket for the dagger 3, and the Hawks win the game. Zach LaVine had 50 in an incredible performance where he proved to the league he's one of the best scorers out there, hitting some crazy shots. The main takeaway, however, is that pick and roll passing and defense are probably the most important things in the modern NBA. LaVine started this game hitting everything out of the pick and roll as well as handoff situations, but down the stretch, his shooting cooled off and he wasn't always able to create for his teammates, whereas Trae Young was able to dominate with a mix of scoring and passing in those spots. I think it's also fair to say that a high volume of shots like these are not very conducive to a highly efficient offense. Unless, of course, your name is Stephen Curry or Damian Lillard. Another key takeaway from this is Vucevic was a liability in this defensively and was part of why Trae Young was able to go off. And on the flip side, Capela was a big part in why LaVine's looks were so tough the whole game and they couldn't be sustained down the stretch, which is why pick and roll passing and defending might be the most important things for a team in the modern NBA. I genuinely believe if Zach LaVine can expand his ability as a playmaker, he will become one of the best players in the NBA. He has unbelievable athleticism and feel for scoring the ball, so if he can translate that into creating for his teammates, I think that the sky is the limit and we're going to see him on a lot of good playoff teams. As for Trae Young, he's a giant liability defensively, but he is so talented offensively that it just might not matter. Let me know what you think below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.